You're listening to Gearing Up, an Everyday Carry podcast. This is a show that's dedicated to highlighting members and makers of the Everyday Carry community that are doing really awesome things. If you're into knives, gear, and talking about what's going on in the hobby, this is the show for you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gearing Up. This is the Everyday Carry podcast where we talk about everyday carry stuff. Today, of course, no exception, although it's going to be a little bit different. If you're watching this, you know why it's different. If you're listening to this, go check out Instagram, or if you're already subscribed on YouTube, go check out YouTube. I am testing out video. I've got a bunch of different things that I still want to change, still want to do some things differently, but at the end of the day, I had to figure out a solution that worked, was functional and easy, but I couldn't sit around anymore. I had to just go for it. So that's what we're doing. So hopefully I don't hate myself for having to edit this, and hopefully I can get everything synced up and the audio is good. If you're watching this and you see me looking off, or, my iPad is down here and I'm recording the audio straight to the app I normally use, so I can edit and upload that all the same. But I'm also monitoring myself. So I'm just keeping an eye on things and making sure that we're still good. So if you see me peeking down, that's why. I'm just trying to make sure everything's good. So let's jump into today's topic. I want to talk about another upcoming knife show. It's one that I originally had intended on, sort of trying to go to. And time and availability and, money just ended up being the biggest factors in why I am not going. So today we're talking about Blade, Texas. And the point of this episode, or the reason I wanted to talk through this and share my thoughts with you guys, is I obviously wanted to bring some attention to it. Not that they need my help, but if you're unfamiliar with it, if you didn't know it was a thing, if you're in, the greater DFW area in Texas, this is a great place to go check out. And so I wanted to talk about the show, some of the folks that are going to be there, which I think is pretty cool. And just give you guys kind of the rundown on what to expect and how this year's Blade Texas is looking. So let's start with the high level stuff. If you're interested in going, you can go to bladeshowtexas.com. This is not, they have no idea I'm even making this episode. So, but this is put on by the same folks that do Blade in Atlanta. And this is happening February 23rd and 24th. And it's in Fort Worth at the Fort Worth Convention Center. So again, if you're in that greater DFW area, this is the place to go. This is the show to check out. There's going to be a ton of really great people that are exhibiting and, there to meet, and I'm sure they'll probably have some Blade Texas exclusives, all of that stuff. So go check out their website. You can still get tickets. It looks like tickets are for a single day pass. If you just happen to pop in on one of the days, it's $25. If you want to do both days, you save a little bit. It's $40. Yeah, Blade Show Texas happening the 23rd and 24th of February, and you can get in both days for under $50, which I think is pretty cool. But I want to talk about the more exciting thing, which is the people that are going to be there. So you can go to their website, you can look at the exhibitor list, and the list is pretty long. I'm just looking through. There's a ton. I mean, there's. I've got to believe, and somebody might be able to correct me on this, but looking at the list looks bigger than just the floor plan they've got mapped out with some of these larger booths. So I'm wondering if there are smaller aisles of folks. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. But just looking at the map and having looked at the list, there's some really, really cool folks that I would recommend going to check out. This is in no particular order. I'm just going to start from kind of the top left on this floor plan on their website and go through some of the folks that I think are absolutely worth it. And there's some that I'm probably not going to mention that you're thinking, what the heck, how did you skip over? But again, these are just the folks that come to mind for me. So I would definitely want to go check out Brian Brown Knives. That's booth 112. Always love to see what he's working on. If you go down, ProTech has a double wide booth at 101. And so I'd definitely be checking them out. And then NAFS right up next to ProTech. So I'd have to go say hi to my friend Ben and everything that NAFS, check out everything NAFS is doing, because I think there's some really cool stuff. And I'm curious what Ben's going to do for the show. I don't know if he's going to do anything, but it would be cool to see if he makes some kind of Blade Show Texas exclusives or whatever. He's always up to something. And then kind of snaking back up, there's Tactile Knife Co. Booth 219. And right next to Breakfast Club EDC and JRW Gear. So that whole strip of folks I would absolutely love to go check out. I'd love to see Tactile Knife Co. and what they're working on and just meet the folks behind them, because they've been doing some really cool stuff. And then looping around that booth, Kaiser's there. That would be fantastic to go and see all the stuff they're working on. Brian Fellholter is there. Also going to be really cool to see. And then continuing down, we and Civivi have a huge booth towards the back or the front, depending on where the entrance is. I have no idea, honestly. Maybe it looks like it's up front, so maybe you're walking through all this stuff. I don't know. Anyways, we and Civivi have a huge booth. I am a huge fan of everything they've been doing, and I would absolutely be checking them out. TRM, Vero is going to be there. Joseph, I'd have to go say hi to him. House of Blades is going to be there. So again, retailer, but I believe they're local to the DFW area. So I definitely want to go chat with them and see what's going on in their world. And it looks like there's some material, like, Jant Supply, Mystic Materials, Pops Knife Supply. It looks like there's a bunch of material. So in addition to knives, there's a bunch of material vendors. So it'd be cool to see. Chavez is there. Would love to see what Ramon's working on. And then continuing up and around and over and all that. Spyderco, obviously, that's a given. We'd go check out Spyderco. Microtech has a big booth. Boker. I'd want to go check out Boker. Boker's got a couple of models that aren't super popular or readily available. Maybe they are popular, but they're not readily available, that I'd be interested to ask them about. Wicked Edge, I'd want to check out. I'd love to see their booth. And, just Wicked Edge has always fascinated me in terms of what they are, what they do, and the quality of sharpening that you can get off one of their systems. But always been a bit outside of my price range. So, and I think that's common for a lot of us, right? It's pretty expensive. So, I'd be interested to talk to them about what they're doing to sort of fill that gap, if they're trying to at all. Maybe they're not. I don't know. Yeah. And then, again, continuing around, I don't know that I see Case. Absolutely. 1000%. I'd want to go check out Case. And anytime I can look at, traditional slip joint knives and try to find just the right one, like, I would love to go check out what they've got. So that's a very, very quick, very high level. And again, there's probably some folks that would be worth checking out that I've missed or sort of glossed over. But honestly, of course, and now I'm seeing, like, Big Idea Design, completely missed that booth in looking through this listing here. Big Idea Design would be awesome to go check out and see what they're working on. So, yeah, tons of really great makers. And again, suppliers. Looks like there's going to be some opportunity to get some materials as well. So, lots going on. But more importantly, the people, right? And so this goes. So if you go back to my conversation about SHOT Show and everything that's going on there, or went on there, that to me seemed like a huge show. Less EDC or knife focus, but more so than it has been in previous years. But huge, nonetheless, both literally and in terms of square footage and the amount of people and the amount of companies. Blade, Texas, to me, and this is why I'm kind of bummed that I won't be able to go. I think Blade, Texas is in kind of a sweet spot right now. Maybe a little biased because it's in Texas and so it's a little easier for me to travel to, but looking at all of the big, and I mean big knife shows, Blade, SHOT Show, those seem huge, and the vendor list and the exhibit space they're gigantic, and so it's a bit overwhelming. And I think Blade, Texas sort of fits snugly in between like the huge SHOT Show or Blade Atlanta and, you know, the local, I don't know what you get, the small mom and pop knife shop. I know that's not what they are, but you know what I mean. To me, that's where I would want to be if I'm visiting shows. And I really do think that the audience that they're bringing in, you know, and the argument can be made like, well, there's Atlanta, there's Texas, there's Blade Show West, which I think is in Utah. Do we need, you know, all that? But I think in terms of time of the year, availability, if you can't make it to one, you can try the others and all that. And it may be, you know, just like for me, it may be an easier lift for some of these vendors to pack up and travel all the way to Texas. If they're low, I say all the way to Texas. It may be easier for some of the closer vendors to pack up and justify coming out to a show like this. Because I know I talked about it in my episode about SHOT Show, but this is a big process to make sure you've got everything you need, and you know the people to ship it and assemble it and tear it down and pack it up and all that stuff. Like it's a process. So I'd be curious to see turnout wise how Blade Show Texas is growing last year versus this year and so on and so forth, because I think if it can peak and then sort of level off, would it be cool if, I mean, I live closer to Houston. Houston's a big city, lots of people. Would I like it if there were one in here? Absolutely. If we can go to the George R. Brown and whatever, that would be cool. But I don't know that I'd want to go. It's like, I guess what I'm saying is I'm posing this idea of like, imagine if Atlanta, Blade Show was in my backyard. Yeah, I'd go. It'd be great. But I'm also kind of stoked that Blade Show Atlanta still exists. And this Blade Texas, this smaller show, I think in terms of the floor plan and the size, it's punching above its weight class in terms of who's there and what you're going to be able to see. So, yeah, I don't know. I think for me, Blade Show Texas is probably going to be the one that I push to attend next year. Now, I really wanted to go this year. Unfortunately, I can't make it. And I was going to say it's not for lack of trying, but it's slightly for lack of trying. I between the day job and kids and work and like all of that stuff, it just time-wise, it didn't make sense. And I didn't start planning soon enough to make it work and to make it make sense. So the thing about Blade Show Texas and it being in Fort Worth and all of that, it's close enough. I could make a day trip. It'd be a hell of a drive, but I could do it. But cost-wise, like gas, convincing my wife to either attend and bring all the kids or let me go by myself. And we just haven't gotten to that point. Like, it's just priority wise, we've got other things to work on. And obviously, if you're watching this, The Office, or if you listen to an episode or two back, The Office was an expense that we didn't necessarily plan for. It was kind of like we had been talking about it, and then one day I was like, we're doing it, and we did it. And so, like, this was not something we anticipated. Had I not spent the money on The Office, I could have probably attended Blade, but Texas. But I use The Office every day. It's been fantastic just for like getting me organized and giving me a space to do stuff even like this. So that's the goal, is down the road I'll plan a little better for Blade Show Texas, and I will make it a priority, because I want to go, I want to shake some hands, I want to, record some podcast stuff while I'm there and hang out with folks. So anyways, that's it. This one's going to be a little shorter. I'm trying to cut myself some slack, trying to get the video and all that stuff going. So definitely go check out Gearing Up on YouTube, and we'll do some more video. I will say that like this episode didn't need a video, but I like I said, I wanted to just get it going, hit record, figure it out. Of course, I'm going to watch this back, like game footage, and try to figure out what I can do differently, what I can do better. I'm hoping that I can mix everything, so that the audio syncs up and everything sounds good. But yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else. Let me pass this question off to you guys. Are you going to Blade Texas? Are you excited? I mean, if you're going, you're probably excited. But are you going? Who do you hope to see? What are you expecting to pick up? Are you trying to buy anything? What are you trying to buy? I'm curious what you guys think of Blade. Not whether you're going or not. I'm curious. Do you think that Blade makes sense? Should we have Blade Texas? Is it big enough? Is it too big to be, that smaller niche show, but it's growing? I'm curious what you guys think. And if you're going, let me know what your, experience is like once you do go, whether you're a vendor or an attendee, just somebody that's looking to make some purchases, whatever. Let me know what you guys think of the experience if you attend. Like I said, I'm genuinely curious, and maybe hit me with a list of like, hey, make sure you do this, because you're going to need it when you go. So anyways, thank you guys again so much for the continued support. I appreciate you listening. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe and all those things. This will get a little bit more polished as we do it more, and I'm hoping this will be a good way to sort of introduce a more visual aspect of the show, have some guests on, talk about specific products, show them off, things like that. So anyways, I've rambled enough. We're getting close to the 20-minute mark. So thank you guys again. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Be sure to subscribe so you get new episodes every time they're released, and make sure you follow Gearing Up Podcast on Instagram so that we can stay in touch. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you next time.